Welcome back. You are watching The Core, coming to you live from Channels Television Studios in Abuja, and we are discussing restructuring. Now, I'd like to engage the studio audience, the lady with the white scarf.
Yeah. Good evening. My name is Fatima Muhammad Sani, and then I want to commend the commentators for a wonderful job. I'll quickly direct my question to APC. Sorry. I've listened to when you talked about having, citizens to participate in restructuring, which is pertinent to the nation's political and economic stability. Because of also agitations here and there. Yet, women's role has not been, spelled out. What do you intend to have women? What role will you give women in restructuring? Because some of the issues coming from the North is not women not having space in politics. And there's the issue of 30% affirmative action. So I would like to know what role you want to give to women.
Let's take a few more before we come back to this. Yeah? Okay, so.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Hajia Hadiza Kabir. I would like to go with the ANRP.
Mr. Tokpa, yeah.
Yes. We can look at it like this. Why don't we look at each state's problem and bring it on table and start working on it locally instead of speaking all the grammar that is not directly affecting the normal person in Nigeria.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm Dr. J.O.C. Samuels. I'm the chairman for Alliance for Nigeria, ANN. Yeah, I've been listening to the panelists discuss this issue, and for us at Alliance for Nigeria, restructuring is something that is key to our agenda for Nigeria. But it's so disheartening to see the way restructuring is being addressed. People have turned it to politics. Just talk. That's why even on this panel now, everybody agrees that we need restructuring, but the specifics on how to do it. And everybody also agrees that the benefits are better than the
current system.
But why are we shy from doing it? I think what we need, what we lack, is the political will and leadership to do the right thing. I mean, a country is not working. We need to get going and do what we need to do to make it work. And that's why restructuring is key. I mean, I just want to make a small analogy. We're going back to pre-2002 when we have Nitel as the dominant telecom. It took a leader that had the political will that this thing must work. Even though people could say at that time that, you will need infrastructure for GSM for it to work. That could have been a deterrent. But because the leadership at that time wanted it to work, they made all the policies, all the right things that the telecoms needed. They won't give them a 5-year tax break. And within 1 year or so, they were all making profits. So for restructuring, for us, our own approach for restructuring is to make it attractive to all the different federative units. And that is why it is very important that those exclusive items on the legislative list, we need to look at it holistically.
So you believe if you make it attractive is by basically saying to states, this is what you'll be able to take charge of, and that is what is going to help. But I think the states kind of already understand that, don't they?
That is why, there's so much politics in all of this. People will talk about creation of states, additional states, or regionalized. Those are the things that are actually making it kind of
complicated.
But when you look at holistically, what are the benefits of restructuring, making it attractive? What you want to look at it, concurrently, all the things is not making on those states with all the bitumen that it has. Why are they not able to turn it into gold, into money? Let's break it so that when those states is making money from resources, then it can be paying royalty to the center.
Okay, sir, we have to go to the next person. Sorry.
Yes, I'm a Bere Ifendo. My take is that we have all agreed here that we need restructuring. And the importance of restructuring actually is for us to go back to the old restoration of true federalism. And in doing that, there will be equity. And that's where what the senator said about the states, the extra state for the Southeast, is coming in now. That I agree sincerely with him. But the truth is that, most people are afraid of restructuring for reasons that they don't understand what restructuring is truly all about. He tried to make some, examples. Yes, if we have true federalism, there is no state in this country that will not have something to bring on board. Our governors are lazy this time because they get money from the federal. But a situation where they will have to work out things from within the state, we are going to have, every state bringing up. They are not supposed to actually develop, at the same pace, but every state will, develop at its optimum level.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay, my name is Tony Osborg. Looking at the issue of restructuring from my end, I think the major reason why we've been clamoring for this is because we feel we need to have a system that is sustainable, that is efficient, and we have a productive people. We have a system of government where the government derives its sustainability from the people's contribution. And that is why when we define restructuring, we define it as whatever method we adopt towards federalism. What is federalism? Federalism, well, there could be different definitions of federalism, but the key point is that in a federal system, the subnational unit and the national unit must be independent and coordinate of each other. What does that mean? It means that the federating units should be able to sustain themselves independently of federal support. So if we don't have that kind of system, we say we practice federal system in Nigeria, but obviously what we have is a unitary system. Because if we practice a federal system, we won't have a situation where states have to entirely depend on allocations to survive. So when we say restructure, we're simply saying, what can we do to make our states more sustainable? What can we do to have local control? What can we do?
I want to come back to the panel before we go back again to the audience. There were a few issues raised. Let me see if I can just quickly recap them. There was a question asked regarding states and how to make sure that we look at the problems of states and just address that. And I think the issue here is that there's that sense in which sometimes we tend to focus a lot on the center and look at the center as the problem. But if you look at individual states and vis-a-vis their relationships sometimes with the local governments, you realize that they are also, mini oppressors in their own right. So that's one. And then the second one is whether APC will be institutionalizing affirmative action for women, as part of this drive for restructuring. And maybe you can deal with those things, because I think that specifically was addressed to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Fatima. That was a very good question. Now, the party itself, obviously, is quite conscious and keen on the issue of affirmative action. Now, let me explain what I mean in that regard.